Call halalim la Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rahawakwadash. Double honest that elders in the apostle, great millstone who teach well and rule well. All the faithful lock him throughout the four winds. Continue pushing. This gonna be a brief history lesson dealing with the wars of the Diadochi. Okay, Diadochi simply means successors, those that pretty much come after. All right, successors. Now, the wars of the Diadochi, I'm going to just get some brief information, or wars of Alexander's successors, were a series of conflicts fought between Alexander the Great's generals over the rule of his vast empire after his death. All right, Alexander came in pretty much 333 or 332 BC. Okay, and his successors were fighting for position to see who was going to get the specific lands they were pretty much fighting for. Esau Edom against Esau Edom. So they were fighting against each other to see. Matter of fact, let me just pull this picture up. All right, you'll see on the screen here. So it's Alexander the Great, or was Philip II of Macedon's son. Okay, and he pretty much conquered the Persian Empire. He took down Darius III. If you look at history, he took down Darius III of the Persian Empire. Now, it's taking too long. Come on, man. All right, let me blow it up some. All right, what you had around the Mediterranean or the Levant. Okay, or what they call Eastern Asia or the Mediterranean. All right, Thracia, which is Greece, Macedonia. The apostles traveled in all these different regions. Greece, okay, which the ancient Japhites used to run or rule or live around this area here, around Greece and the islands of Crete. All right, Cyprus or Kittim. All right, Asia Minor, Turkey. Okay, Asia Minor, Turkey. All right, Antiochia, Mesopotamia. So pretty much those are wars being fought around all this region here, and as well as Egypt. Okay, we're going to get to it. So the wars of the Diadochi, or wars of Alexander's the Great successors, were a series of conflicts fought between Alexander the Great's generals over the rule of his vast empire after his death. They occurred between 322 BC and 281 BC. All right, so that was after Alexander the Great's death. Now, it'll give you locations like I just pulled up on the screen. Macedon, which Greece, Thrace, Greece, Anatolia, Asia, Turkey, or Asia Minor, the Levant, Egypt, Babylonia, and Persia. All right, so why? Because Alexander took down the Persian Empire, Darius III. All right, so he was around that region, or his generals were fighting for position around that region. So it gives you all these different names, right? Okay, the Diadochi Wars, not the Syrian Wars. That's another different conflict with Esau against Esau. Antigonus, all right, Eumenes. All right, I'm going to get into that just a little bit too, dealing with Eumenes or the Italic Empire. Okay, because the Italic Empire came from Eumenes. All right, the Seleucids, Cassander, Lysimachus, Demetrius, Python, Aristodemus. But anyway, brothers can look it up. There's so much Demetrius and Antigonus. All right, brothers can look this information up. All right, but if you look down here, 308 to 301 BC, the four main generals were Ptolemy, if you can see on the right side of the screen, Ptolemy, which ruled down in Egypt. All right, you can find them written also too in Daniel's, the 11th chapter, which already occurred. Daniel 11th chapter, pretty much everything already occurred there. Ptolemy, considered the king of the south, which was ruling in Egypt, the Ptolemaic Empire, Ptolemy Soter, Ptolemy II Philadelphus. Okay, Cassander, which was ruling in Greece, the area of Greece. All right, Thessalonia is in Greece. All right, matter of fact, he named Thessalonica after his wife, Thessaly. That's where you get the Nike symbol at. That till this day, A lot of Judahites like wearing those Nike. I always hated the Nike symbol for that particular reason. It was in my spirit to hate it, which is good. All right. But anyway, Lysimachus, which ruled in Asia Minor, and Seleucid had he was pretty much Ptolemy, the Ptolemaic Empire and the Seleucid Empire were pretty much the main focal points in this, pretty much in the Alexander's generals or the main generals, all right? Which are these four here, but the Ptolemaic Empire and the Seleucid Empire were the main ones. The main ones always going back and forth. You can find them written in Daniel's, the 11th chapter, the Assyrian Wars, which there was 6 Syrian wars taking place. All right, Ptolemaic Empire, Cassander, Lysimachus, and Seleucus. All right, he was in around Syria and the Persian Empire. All right, so he was considered in Daniel's, the 11th chapter, the king of the north. All right, Antiochus II Theos, Antiochus III, Antiochus IV Epiphanes, which made war with us during the time of the Greek Empire. Now, these Edomites here, they say civilization began with the Greeks. They had an advanced society, which is all, lies that Esau Edom likes to bring forth. Matter of fact, they had homosexuality. That is not advanced there, okay? They got a place called Lesbos Island, which came from the Greeks, all right? That's where the name or the word lesbian comes from. Look it up. It still exists to this day, and it's an island that pertains to Greece, all right? They have the sports, the gymnasium, the gymnos, the Greek word gymnos, which means to be naked. Ask a lot of college students, all right, what gym means, or ask them exactly, they won't answer. They don't know. We got the greatest knowledge on this earth, and it pisses brothers off. Even though we know we got the greatest knowledge, we're now looked at as highly esteemed in a society. We're looked at as the enemy, which is fine and dandy. It's perfect. We want it that way. All right, the Lord shows you his power through the lowliest base men, which are the hope for life. It's good like that. We want it like that. All right, you brothers got to get into the history more. Well, I'm going to just say like this, like I said in the camp video the other day, you got to be well-rounded. Everything, you're not going to get every single thing. I don't know a lot of things. All right, but you learn. You gradually learn. All right. And that's what we're called to do, man. Just keep on pushing this word. The gymnasium, sporting events were nude, wrestling, came from the Greeks. So obviously that society wasn't too advanced, huh? All right. But anyway, this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1. Now we're talking. Now we're going to bring out the scriptures. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and starting at verse. Damn, I could probably start from the top. Let's just start from verse 1. 1 Maccabees chapter 1. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, this Philip is the Philip the second of Macedon, which came from the Agagites, which are Amalekites. Esau, Edom. They even tell you that in the records. The Macedonian, which is in Greece, who came out of the land of Kittim, which is like the island of Cyprus, but it pertains to the Greek Empire. All right, Kittim had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. All right, Darius that Alexander the Great took down was Darius III. That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. That's what Alexander the Great did. All right, the scriptures say he moved with choler. Choler is like anger, like he rushed in there. Why? How did he do that? Because Yahweh Shai put the spirit in that devil to do that. Okay? He was cool with a lot of Israelites though, but he's still a devil. All right? So the Lord put the spirit in that devil to take down the Persians. All right? And I believe it took 12 years, but that was a quick time because the Persians are known for their expertise in war. The first over Greece and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. All right, he won many strongholds. He took the spoils. It tells you here, verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations. All right, what? That's why we could call Russia, we could call them Gog and Magog, because they're ruling and controlling that particular area. All right? Because anytime you take down an enemy, you would consider that like, give me that. That's mine now. That's my possession. Spoils of war. Women are spoils of war. You don't think the Greeks took took some Persian women? Of course. Why wouldn't they? All right. In so much that the earth was quiet before him. So he's pretty much strong. He came strong. Whereupon he was exalted and his mind was lifted up like the proud ass Esau Edomite that he is. An Edomite that he is. Look what I did. You ain't do nothing. Yahweh Shah put that spirit in through the Heavenly Father to put that spirit in you to take down these other nations. Okay, to take down mainly the Persians. All right. That's why it says his mind was lifted up like haughty, that proud look. Damn devil. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. All right, so they showed their respects unto Alexander the Great. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die, right? Because he had a sickness, okay? Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth. These different generals going into the Diadochi Wars. So these Edomites was going against Edomites for position. And the main ones you can see over here, 308 to 301, Diadochi War with Ptolemy, Cassandra, Lysimachus and Seleucid Empire, Seleucus were the main four generals. Those are the main four generals you can find mostly written, all right, during the Salakim, Daniel's 11, you can find Ptolemaic Empire and the Seleucid Empire mainly written there. All right, but those are the four generals that had position in Alexander the Great's kingdom or in those regions. And wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So, okay, here, you can take this, you can take blah, 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 but they was all fighting in contrary to another. That's what Esau Edom was going to do in his third world war. Now, the Lord brought all nations and Esau Edom, all these Edomites together, along with all these nations in the valley of Yahweh Mashapah, which means the Lord's judgment, the Middle East. So the Lord is bringing all these other nations and Esau Edom, the main ones that are going to be fighting this World War III, to wipe themselves out. So, rightfully so. All right, verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule everyone in his place. After his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. All right, so evils were multiplied. No great civilization flourishes by evil, all right, by wickedness, all right. That's why the scriptures say, Proverbs 29:2, when the earth, when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So now, when you go to, matter of fact, let me go to one of his generals, okay, Eumenes, all right, the Macedonian Empire. This is one of his generals during the time of the Diadochi Wars, all right. He lasted a little longer too. You know, there's different dates after that too, but the main four generals were Seleucid, Cassandra, Ptolemy, and Lysimachus. Salakio. Let me type in Talid Empire. Or Talid. All right, they ruled what? In Pergamum. But yeah, Pergamum in Asia Minor. Was an Hellenistic dynasty that ruled the city of Pergamum in Asia Minor after the death of Lysimachus, a general of Alexander the Great. So these pretty much they continued, but that was still during the Diadochis and these wars that these Edomites were fighting. Okay? And it says here, but this wasn't a main general though. But I will tell you this. He had a son called, okay, let's go to Eumenes. Hold on. Attalus 2. He had a son called, let me just type it in. Sorry. Attalus Okay, and I'm going to get the online entomologists to prove that these devils named their lands after themselves. Psalms 49 and verse 11. All right? Their inward thought is that their houses or their kingdoms or their abodes or wherever they reside at in this earth, Esau Edom thinks is going to continue forever. All right? Attalus 2 Philadelphus, which means brotherly, I'll tell you here, which means Attalus the brother loving. All right, from 220 to 138 BC. So he came way after the Diadochi Wars, but there were still the generals that came from that Macedonian Empire when Alexander the Great died. All right, but he wasn't the main general, was a king of Pergamum and the founder of modern-day Turkish city Antalya or Antioch. All right, and this is where you get, when you go to online entomology, I had it set up already, right? When you go look up Philadelphia, right? This is where you literally get Philadelphia. It wasn't by William Penn, by the way. City in Pennsylvania between the Delaware and Schuylkill rivers, right? I don't know how to pronounce that. Schuylkill rivers from Greek, taken by William Penn to mean brotherly love. All right, you had the Church of Philadelphia. You had Israelites in the Church of Philadelphia. All right, from Philos, brotherly love, from Philos, which means lover. All right, or love. Loving, see Philo, Adelphos. Brother, see Adelphi, related to Philadelphian. Also, the name recalls that of the ancient city in Lydia, mentioned in the New Testament, which was so called in honor of Attalus II Philadelphus. So that's pretty much where these devils get their names from, the ancient Greek and the ancient Roman Empire. The Greco-Roman Empire, reincarnated once again as fourth beast, is here right now. They're ruling this earth. We know that very well, and they know that. Esau Edom knows very well. All right? So that's where you get Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It wasn't by William Penn. It didn't start with him. It started with the Greek Empire. I just read to you in the first Maccabees. All right? And guess what? And it says here, which was so called in honor of Attalus II Philadelphus, 2nd century BCE, king of Pergamon, all right, Asia Minor, who founded it. His title is said to have meant loving the brethren. I ain't going to use the Hebrew. Loving the brethren, or loving the brother, or to be a reference to his affection for his brother Eumenes, whom he succeeded. You see that? And of course, it gives you some other information or whatever. All right, but with that, Lord willing, this video was edifying. Just a little brief history on certain things. All right, you can always bring out more information, but why? A little bit does the job. That's it. All right, but Lord willing, it was edifying. Giving all praise to our powers. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Harakakadash, and Shalom.